First off, it's Capital City. I'm Capital J. This is my main man,
DL Glass.
We're in the building right now. We got
Yes,
legendary member of the Cold Crush Brothers.
Well, I actually started the Cold Crush Brothers. I'm the original DJ Tony Tone of the legendary Cold Crush Brothers, and go by the name of Tony Crush now.
You know what? When DL told me, he said, "Man, you know who Tony Crush is?" I was like, Tony Crush. And then later on, Tony Tone, he said, Tony Tone. I was like, oh, I know who Tony Tone is. I did not know who Tony Crush was. I was embarrassed for a second. I was like, oh, no, he stumped me. How did he stump me? But, yeah. Yeah, so
that's how that happened.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went down. When he said Tony Tone, I was like, oh, my whole body language changed. I was like, oh, Tony Tone's going. Oh, that's what's up. So first of all, man, we are very happy to have you in the building, and we are honored that you take part in this podcast with us.
It's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure. If you ain't teaching, you ain't doing hip hop.
My man, well, we getting ready to teach you.
Anytime I get a chance to teach, I know I'm doing hip hop.
Okay, well, that's what we've been trying to do, and now I have a better teacher than myself. So some of the things that we've already talked about, we talked about the early days of hip hop, right? And how this thing started. And we talked about the impact it had, you know, on us from afar, watching it grow. Because early in the days, it was hard being in North Carolina to get your hands on Cold Crush music. You had to really be plugged in with the right channels to have access to the music. But in New York, you guys got this whole thing jumping off. So start us from the beginning. When did the idea or the notion of making this type of music and being involved in this lifestyle come to you, and how did you get to forming the Cold Crush Brothers?
It's a journey. Like late 74, my godbrother took me, he asked me did I know who Kool Herc was. So I said, nah. So he said, well, I'm going to take you to this place called the Hevelo. And he took me in the Hevelo, and it was like night and day. The music was night and day. I was working in the record store already, but when I walked in her Kool Herc party, he wasn't playing nothing that I was selling in the store. And I was like, what is this music he playing? Because I haven't heard 80% of this music. And I'm playing the top 40. But Herc was playing like the records that people wasn't playing on the albums and stuff. And I'm looking, and I'm by the DJ booth, and I'm trying to peep over because they got half the DJ booth painted black. But when I see the records, he already got tape over the record name, hiding the name.
Yeah, he knew DJs was trying to peep the style.
Yeah, because he was playing the obscure record, the song. But, you know, people think, oh, hip-hop, rap music. No, it wasn't even called that. Because he was playing maybe 60% jazz. And R&B then was just called soul music. So he played jazz, soul music, and rock and roll. Those are the three main compositions of music that he's playing. Bob James, Etta James, Gil Scott-Heron, the Jackson 5, you know, but he playing the songs that ain't being played on the radio that's on these albums.
Right. And from one DJ to the next, you know that when you walk into a party and you hear a guy playing joints that everybody else ain't playing and the crowd's still with it, that's major respect right there.
Yeah. And there ain't no cutting and scratching at that time. It's just he playing it from start to end. Ain't no cutting and scratching.
But it's all the right music.
Yeah, he's just playing all the right music. Right now, I probably can play about 70 records that started hip hop with no like the majors won't even like, yo, what's that? I just played a record like maybe last September. And the dude came over and said, what's that? And I said, it's the Jackson 5. He said, that's the Jackson 5. I said, yeah, that's the Jackson 5 you don't know about. I've been doing hip hop. Well, you ain't been doing it long enough if you don't know this record.
Spoken like a true DJ.
Go back and do some homework. Go back and do your homework. See, everybody always want to be known. They want to know everything, but they don't do no research. Mm-hmm. You can't know something if you ain't doing no research. I bet you I could play. I could be a 20 records, and people won't even know this is what started hip hop. They don't even know the artist. You know, I could play some Isley Brothers that people wouldn't even know it's the Isley Brothers. If they know who the Isley is.
Right, a lot of DJs.
Isley Brothers been out there a long time, since the 50s.
Right, and a lot of DJs spend a lot of time searching for those breaks from the early days too. But it wasn't till those ultimate breaks and beats kind of cheated and gave them out to everybody. All that was top secret stuff. So tell me this: how long from '74? How long was it before you started seeing the MCs really take front and center?
Well, it all starts with the DJ. You know, the DJ putting everything together, building foundation and everything. Back when I first walked to the Core party, he was making announcements, doing a little rhyming while he made the announcement. You know, calling out people in the party. But that's what he was doing. Maybe about 77. The MC start forming, because now the DJ need to be focused on DJ, so he need a front man.
Right, so he can pay attention.
But Hurt got Coca Rock there with him too. He got Coca Rock. You know, Coca Rock was doing a little rhyming, but they putting in the structure of what this should be looking like, and the rest of us sitting around and taking notice. So now the three MCs come along. What now is known to people as the Furious Five. Grandmaster Flash and the three MCs is now Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. Mm-hmm. But everybody's like, we started and we changed up till we got the formula to keep going. Well, everybody now think, it started like that and it's been like that. No, it didn't. We changed up and added on, and some people then passed on, and some people just didn't stick with it. You had to stick with it to make it work. Kool Herc and the Herculoids, Clark Kent, Coca Rock, the Imperial JC. These are the real starter of this thing. Then the Africa Bambaataa come in with the Zulu Nation, and then he started putting the elements. First it was 5 elements. Now it's probably about more than 20 elements of hip hop culture. The first 5 is the DJ, the MC, the B-boy, the graffiti writer, and the 5th element is knowledge. Teaching and learning.
Right.
What it's supposed to be like, and how you want to be perceived in this world. People don't know, like the year 2000, we was invited to the United Nations and signed a treaty with the USA that hip hop is looked at as recognized as a culture. Nice. And we had delegates from different countries there to sign this treaty with us. 2005, hip hop is in Cornell University, inducted into Cornell University in 2005. It's a lot of stuff that people don't understand that this culture has gone through.
Speaking
to be recognized.
Hey, speaking of the international impact, now I read somewhere that the Cold Crush Brothers were one of the first hip hop groups to really take hip hop out of the United States. Is that true? Y'all hit the Japan early on in your career?
1983.
Oh man, tell us about that. What it was like.
We toured Japan for 2 weeks.
Wow.
We did the first. We did the first. It was supposed to be a graffiti documentary, but then it was like a little laid back and boring, so they added us to the mix.
Right.
Now, the movie name is Wild Style. First hip hop movie, credited as the first hip hop movie. We started shooting in '81, finishing in '82, toured Japan in '83.
So
no hit record. When we toured Japan because of this movie for 2 weeks.
That's
stadiums, not parties, stadiums of people that couldn't even understand us, vibing to the culture in '83. So when somebody say, "Oh, I started hip hop in '86," I'm like, "Yo, man, I was touring in '83."
Right.
So
And the impact of that movie, man, was, well, first of all, I was telling DL at the time, my way to see that movie, I don't know if the USA Network was one of the few stations we had on cable, and they used to have this night flight program. And Wild Style would come on there. So I caught it, back then. I was like, wow, why have I never heard of this? I don't remember it coming to the movie theater. Nothing. It's just popped up. And
well, the director, he did it on his credit card.
Right.
He did the movie on his credit card, him and his friend's credit card. That's how he shot the movie. They didn't have the know-it-all to even give us like scripts to read and say our lines and stuff. He just said, "Yo, say what you would say in this situation. Just be yourself."
Right. Right. And you can see it you could tell that Beat Street drew a lot from Wild Style when it came out.
I took the contract to my mother and said, "Yo, they want us to be in this movie, Ma." And she said, "Why would they want you to be in a movie?" And never even took the contract to read it or say we need to take it to a lawyer or anything. So we signed the contract, and we get 1% of the gross of the movie to split 6 ways.
Wow.
Does that include Future?
It's still the same way. We still getting checks from the movie.
Word. Well,
$5, $6.
There's some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. We still getting checks 30 years later, 40 years later. We still getting checks. But I try to tell it like it is because we need to understand that a parent need to be in their kid's life regardless, whether you think it's nonsense or whatever. You need to really pay attention to your kid and what he's doing or whatever, because that could have been a whole lot better for us if we had somebody say, "Okay, let's really pay attention to this. Let's get this contract to a lawyer or whatever."
Right.
We could have been like, it could have been different. It could have been different than us just taking it upon ourselves to sign it ourselves and agree to 1% of the movie. But that's what happened.
Yeah. But personally, I've always felt like it's kind of criminal how under-recognized Cold Crush Brothers are. And I know that,
I wouldn't say, we are named the Temptations of hip hop culture. We've been in a lot of write-ups. We've been all over the world. It's just that our people don't give us the credit that they should because they don't know. You know, you got
Right.
Jay-Z saying I'm overcharging for what they did to the Cold Crush because all those guys copied and they built their style on us.
Yes.
We just put a lot of thought into it. I was down with a group called the Brothers Disco before I started the Cold Crush, and the Brothers Disco grew into be the Funky Four, and then later on became the Funky Four plus one.
I was getting ready to say, I remember that reference in golly, doom 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 doom. Yeah, I had a old Sugar Hill Greatest Hits 1981 and Funky 4+1. So you that's incredible. All these
I started with them, DJ Breakout and Baron, and first it was just KK, the voice of KK Rockwell, and then they formed the Funky Four. Then they formed the Funky Four, and 1979, the Funky Four had a battle with the Furious Four, and then Raheem quit the Funky Four and went with the Furious, and that became the Furious Five.
Oh.
And then Little Rodney C and Jazzy Jeff got down with the Funky Four, and then Shy Rock had left, but she came back and she became the plus one.
And Rodney C.
I saw all that happen.
That's
Little Rodney C. Yeah.
That's one of the Double Trouble guys from the Stoop.
Yeah, that's one of the Double Trouble. Rodney C is one of the Double Trouble guys, and the other guy is KK Rockwell.
Man, you know what?
Which are still around today. and I will get you in touch with Rodney C so you can have him on the show too.
Oh man, that would be incredible, man. That we would greatly appreciate that because you know my problem with you guys not getting the proper recognition. It's not that true hip hop heads don't know who you are. It bothers me that the casual fan doesn't know. Mm-hmm. Even back 5 years, like 5 years after your heyday, let's say y'all at the best, it's really jumping in 81. 5 years later in 86, I didn't feel like there was proper respect given to Cold Crush.
We still getting bookings. We still getting bookings. You know, somebody just called me. They want to bring us out to Dallas. You know.
Yeah, the culture's caught up now. The culture's caught up now, and you guys are you know, yeah. And especially,
and you got people with hit records that don't want us to open up for them. They still don't want us to open up for them.
True.
Not because we ain't good enough, because they feel that they don't want to come on after us.
And I can't say that respect has not been given because, if I'm correct, you are now in the Smithsonian, right?
Yes. I was asked to go into the Smithsonian. At first, I turned it down, but then when they mentioned Emmett Till, I said, "Yeah, I want to be in it."
Yeah, that's
a lot of people might not know of Emmett Till or what the case is, but they need to learn. You know, they need to learn. They need to figure out whether you got to teach yourself, because the schools program you. They don't really teach you. They program you. So you got to be looking for avenues that are willing to teach you about your history, about who you are, about who you might want to be.
Right. And the impact, so that also means that the Smithsonian feels like your impact on our culture is important enough to stand beside the legacy of Emmett Till and all those other great people in there. And then you, sir, have gotten your respect. And, you know,
I'm on it. My exhibit is on the third floor. It's about the size of a half a basketball court. I got video in my exhibit where I'm teaching you I gotta create a record to show you the first like 25 records that started hip hop, and I'm doing we got 2 videos screaming I'm talking.
Yeah.
Cornell University inducted the first years of hip hop. My picture is in there, right next to the Gettysburg Address. So
Nice.
but these are the things people don't hear about, and we gotta share it with our people because they're not gonna share it with our people. They want us to think we ain't did that, and they want other nationalities to think we ain't did nothing. Well, of course, they gonna push the negative part of everything.
Right. I got a question for you. When it came time to get the call from the Smithsonian, I
didn't get a call.
Oh.
So they came to the house.
Oh, they came to the house.
Right.
So did that invitation go out to anybody else from the Cold Crush, or was it you specifically?
No, they came to me.
Nice.
But I took the whole Cold Crush in with me because I didn't do it alone.
Right.
They came. They said we want you to be. I gave them a whole sound system from like the 70, 72, 73. I gave them a whole sound system. And my whole sound system is in there. And it says the Bronx on the fence. It says the Bronx. But I said, listen, I want everybody. I want my whole crew to go in with me. So I got my boys there with me.
Nice.
They got other people in there. They got things from other people, but they got a whole sound system from me, as well as the Universal Hip Hop Museum that's supposed to be opening up in the Bronx in 2024. I think I donated some speakers and stuff to them as well.
Oh man,
a lot of this stuff I kept so I could put it in museums because I just felt like I'm a collector. Let me say that I'm a collector. So I got stuff that should be in museums. So I'm spreading it out. I just found out I got some stuff in the museum in Tennessee.
So nice, man.
I ain't even been there yet, but online I saw my cousin called me and said, "Hey, you got something in Tennessee museum?" I said, "No, I don't know nothing about it." So
yeah, that's what's up.
We
man.
even got a shrine in Applebee's.
Nice.
In about 6 Applebee's.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. So I'm glad things are like they are. We talked a lot about how hip hop changed from the late 70s, early 80s, and how the whole sound got more polished and all of this. Tell us. Let's talk about that a little bit. Like hip hop in its original form is raw, it's happening live. Of course there is some planning, but it's everything is improv a lot of times. And
we was kids. We was kids doing what we saw Herc doing and enjoying it. The Bronx was gang ridden, had over 300 gangs. You couldn't go to the next block because another gang was on the next block. So playing music in the street loosened up that tension, and people took off their colors just to enjoy a couple of hours of music being played in the street. Like the whole thing, but then when you start taking notice and you seeing that this it got a structure. It's got a structure. It got a different structure. Like, you go to other clubs, you got to have on shoes. You got to be dressed up, button down shirt. In Kool Herc party, it's come as you are.
Yep. I talked about on one of the podcasts one of the things that I feel like ruined ruined the club was the dress code. They started enforcing dress codes in places that they used not to.
Yeah, because everybody trying to be the grown club. They trying to be the grown club, where they want people to come dressed up, and you can't get in if you got on sneakers. You can't get in if you have on a certain type of hat, and And Hurt didn't do that at his parties. He like, yo, Hurt's about getting that money, so he's like, yo, come and feel comfortable. You can come dress up if you want to, but if you don't want to, still bring me that money.
And there's something about that music, man. Good music will have people who don't get along. They'll come in there and they'll get along as long as the music's right.
Yeah, I mean, I seen parties where the music is playing and it's good and everything going good, and then people change up the flow of the music, and next thing you know, people are fighting.
Yep.
I'm like, wow.
Happens all the time.
Like, and it's just that one or two people that want to hear that type of music, and then it's 20 minutes into it, it's an argument, a fight, something. Like, wow, man, like, yo.
Right.
But everything good, they throw a virus. Your computer working fine, all of a sudden you got a virus. That's the same thing with life.
Well,
if you having too much fun and enjoying life, they will put a virus out there for you.
Well, speaking of the virus, we talked about the impact of drugs on hip hop in one of our shows, right? And of course, from beginning to end to now, you've seen the impact of that crack cocaine and what it did to the community, and it speaks volumes that you went from the beginning of your career, and at this point, you still had stuff that you could donate to a museum. A lot of people weren't blessed enough to have made it through the rough times and still be able to hold on to some of the more precious items they collected. So tell me about the impact of drugs on the people around you and how you managed to
stay off them.
Make it to this point and still have stuff.
Being like we was talking earlier, being a kid that worked in the tobacco, breaking tobacco, or cooking tobacco, taking tobacco to the market to sell. I did all of it. When it came time, my father asked me, "Do I want to start smoking?" I said, "No, I don't want to start smoking." I was drinking alcohol. I passed out in the Kool Herc party at 17. The next day, I quit drinking. Just totally quit drinking, and I still don't drink. And I'll be 62 this year. I seen the crack era just came in and just ate up a whole lot of people, ate up a whole lot of things dealing with, life. And luckily, a couple of people was able to survive it. A lot of people didn't survive it. And I don't mean just people in hip hop. I mean like real, like people like Sly Stone and people on that level.
Right.
It done. Messed up their life and just ate them up from the inside. I done been around presidents. I done been around, the Chaka Khans. I was lucky enough to see James Brown perform. You don't get a chance to be around these people. I sat with George Clinton one night in a club, and Rodney Dangerfield is sitting over here, and it's like I seen Eddie Murphy like rolling the club with the kid, and I'm saying, Why is he the only one got security? Everybody in here is in here because they somebody, but he the only one walking around with security. Like, yo, you around your people, man. Well, you don't need your security in here.
Yeah, I seen that.
But that's how, you know, you can't tell a man how to roll. So, you know, but I also seen, like, I used to walk in places, and Russell Simmons, before he became Russell Simmons, would like, yo, come here, let me talk to you. Explain to me what y'all doing. I sat there and then it taught him hip hop.
Right.
You know, when he used to call me every week. When he signed LL Cool J, he called me down to the record company and said, yo, could you mentor my new artist? You know, and I said, yo, your name is LL? Meet me at this club, Broadway International, and ask for me at the door, and I'm going to come down and get you in. You know, like I said, you got to pass it on. You got to help the next man in this culture.
I agree.
Because, you know, well, you got to help the next man in everything, you know, but people don't do that. People don't reach back. People don't reach forward. They just get it and try to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Well, what good is that doing? What good is that doing? If we got hip hop, if we got what we now call hip hop and kept it to ourselves, would it be all over the world? No. It'd just be in a little corner of the Bronx, doing nothing.
Yeah, the younger generation is a little bit more guarded with their stuff. You know, I know personally, I got what.
They've been bamboozled all over again.
Yeah, you got to share.
Yeah, you got to share. You got to open that door for the next people. Because what you getting is yours, but it's a lot more there. You ain't going to get it all. You got to keep this thing growing for it to still be able to live, to make money, to change people's lives. You know, this come from some kids on the street, and now it's creating billionaires.
Right.
They came in, they stole a lot of it. They ain't stole all of it. They ain't get all of it. But they don't want all of it. They just want the part that will make them millionaires and be able to send their kids to college and all that. They ain't worried about you sending your kids to college. But they gonna try to make sure they able to send their kids to college. And I don't understand how people can see them becoming millionaires and don't say, okay, well, if they can become millionaires, we can become millionaires too.
Right.
Because this is actually our thing.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
After watching what hip hop became through the years and seeing how, you know, like let's say the early days, like why didn't, like, let's take the guys from the Wild Style movie.
Mm-hmm.
So many dope MCs in there. And as hip hop grew, I wonder maybe you can give me a little insight. Why didn't so many of those great MCs, why didn't they get their chance when hip hop was really exploding and becoming a more national thing? Like I'm talking about
because you become a throwaway to the system. You become a throwaway, like somebody. They start getting so much. You become a throwaway because they want to grab hold of the next thing coming. and use that and then throw that away and get the next thing. Because it's always going to be somebody waiting in line for their chance. And these people, they call it the music business because that's all it is to them. They ain't caring about the culture and building a positive life. They just want you to, what? This is the next one? Okay, let's get him. Let's give him $1 million. We're going to use him, get all we can out of him. We gonna make $50 million. We gonna give him $1 million. We gonna make $50 million. Then we gonna throw him away and try to find the next thing.
Right. I was talking.
That's how they do.
Right. I was talking with DL earlier. Like out of like all the, most of the people from that early era when hip hop was all in the videos and everything. I was just telling them earlier. It's like Kool Moe Dee had a chance, and he did well. But when you think like that, Busy B didn't get that same run during that era. No, well, Busy B is still running around doing his thing. He got a couple of new joints out now. One called Smoke On, and he doing his thing. He running around with a band, doing his shows and all that. He in the Baltimore area. But he's all over. He was touring with KRS-One for a while and doing shows with KRS-One. He's still doing his thing. Yeah.
Still today.
Yeah. I just feel like I missed those guys when I was watching LL and the Fat Boys and all them come up. I expected that it was my chance to finally see the guys that I had always heard but never got a chance to see. Because when rap got visual, and you started being able to see videos on BET and the box and all of this, I felt like where I was missing out on my chance to see these guys and what they do. I always heard them, but I missed it.
Doing was what the Def Jam and this and that start doing. They start forming cliques. So you wasn't part of that clique. You couldn't. They had they lane chiseled out, and this is their lane. So you ain't down with that Def Jam or whoever. You ain't a part of that clique. So now they click it, and they doing the Fresh 1, the Fresh 2, and they taking and moving them around. Houdini, Run DMC, and a couple of other groups. Which we friends with all of them. I just talked to John Lill. I had reached out to him a couple of times, and he called me back the other night and was like, "Yo, thanks for checking on me, fam. A lot of us close, Kay, a lot of they show us respect and we become families with everybody. So I mean, even Marley Marl. Last time I was around Marley Marl, I said, listen, all this Bronx versus Queens, we got to stop that. We got to bring that to a head because it's not actually like that anyway. But they've been brainwashed to be a clique. So that's what they deal with.
Right.
Where in the Zulu Nation, we everybody is universal. We universal love, universal family. But they make these guys think that if you be friends with them, then you got to share your fame with them. You got to share that money with them.
Did that early South Bronx Queens rivalry do anything? You think it caused any lasting damage to the original culture?
We wouldn't let it. We wouldn't let it. Because we still, Zulu Nation anniversary and this and that. And when you got people coming from Germany, Russia, to the Bronx to represent their hip hop at a Zulu Nation anniversary, that tells you something. People paying their money to travel here to say, yo, this is what we got from y'all. And this is what we did with it.
Right.
You know, Ice-T, you know, he's been out, been rolling with us since the early 80s.
Yeah.
You know?
His man Donald D was from the East Coast, wasn't he?
Yeah, Donald D. We grew up in the same project.
Right,
Donald D. lived right down the block from me. You know, he hit me up, boom, yo, what's up? Africa Islam, you know, down with the Rhyme Syndicate, you know, they all from the Bronx.
Wow.
You know, and it's when, but this is what I'm saying, the branching out is crucial. For you to see coming from jumping off the roof and you going to live in Germany, you going to live in France, you going to live in Italy, and they grab onto you to get the nourishment, the hip hop nourishment that they want to be able to grow into something in their area. And we're not saying do it like us. We just giving you the basics and wanting you to put your spin on it. We don't want it to stay the same. We want it to evolve and grow into something better. So the 10th element now of hip hop a couple of years ago is veganism.
Is what?
It's vegan.
Vegan.
Go vegan.
Yeah.
Right.
You got John Sally was at the ceremony. You got so many people that's vegan. You know, and John Sally from the NBA walked up to me and said, yo, you've been a bad boy for a long time, man. I usually come to y'all parties and I was seeing you. And I said, you know, and I'm taking it. This is John Sally telling me this.
Right.
You know, we hanging out with Reggie Miller, Gary Payton. I ran into Gary Payton in Las Vegas, and he was like a little kid to me. And I'm like, yo, this is the glove. He's like, yo.
He's like, yo, this is Tony Crush.
Come to my house. Yeah, come to my house. You know, but I was in Denver, and I was talking to this kid, and when I told him who, you know, I hugged him and I whispered in his ear who I was, he fainted in my arms.
Yeah, man, I was excited too, man.
When he came to, he said, yo, it's like a fairy tale. Like, y'all are like fairy tales.
Yeah.
When I say Stu, I'm thinking of an old person. And this was like maybe 5 or 10 years ago. But you know, these people that live in these places, they never would think they'll run across one of us.
Right.
So when they run across one of us, of course, you know, they like, oh, they feel like the luckiest person in the world. You know, people are naming bars after Cold Crush. When I was in Denver, my man said, yo, they got a bar over here named Cold Crush. So I was like, yo, take me by there. Soon as I walked in, told the dude at the door, yo, tell the owner Tony Crush is here. He's like, oh, man, come on in. You know, because there was some cats from Brooklyn that moved out to Denver, and they named their bar after us.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, it's an honor, you know, to have people that look at us like that, that think of us like that.
Yeah, no doubt. And as a DJ too, it feels good, man. Just being recognized, you know what I'm saying? We appreciate.
And like I said, you know, I enjoy talking to people, and I hope I'm giving people a lot of stuff that they don't know that's going on, because it's all stuff you can search the internet and say, oh, he was right. You know, he letting us know about something we should know about already.
Right.
You know.
Have you heard anything about Swiss Beats starting a foundation a foundation to get the hip hop pioneers money?
I heard that he was. I think he jumped the gun and started saying that he wanted to give all of us $1 million, and then cats started like reaching out to him. I'm sitting here looking at this, and I'm saying, why does everybody just start slamming him like, yo, like I'm saying. So I called Grandmaster Cass, and Cass, I was like, yo, he's like, yo, let it happen. I said, I ain't gonna reach out to him. We like, yo, if we don't come up in the lineup, we don't care, because we're not doing this for that. We appreciate that he said that. But, so the same people, they're going to always, when it's money, they're going to reach out because it's money. They're not reaching out for what they should be reaching out. They reaching out because it's money and they're greedy.
Right.
If
I got a question for you.
My thing is, Sid Speech, what you going to do for the generation that's coming after us? What are you going to do for the educational system? What are you going to do to make these kids' life easier with the learning and what they're going to be when they grow up? This is a whole lot of gray areas with our people. Our kids ain't being taught. Well, we know we live in two different worlds.
Right.
Well, I look at it like that. A lot of people, they sleeping and they caring about the wrong thing. But I know, like, we living in two different worlds, and our kids is getting 40%, and white kids are getting 80%.
Mm-hmm.
What are we gonna do to even that out? Are we gonna open up our own schools and teach our own kids what we need to teach them to survive?
Gotta give more back ourselves.
Yeah, we gotta take control of teaching our kids, take back control of teaching our kids. But they programming our kids. They're not teaching our kids, and we gotta get that in everybody's head that we are being programmed when we go to their schools, and they're not teaching us.
Right.
They giving their kids all the opportunities to come out of school and to be making that type of money, and they're not giving our kids that same opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
well, have you thought about what are you doing along those lines? Because I can tell you got a passion for this. So is there anything that you want to tell us about that you got going on?
Well, sometimes I got to force to sit down and calm down because I start, my head start hurting because my mind is running like, what can I do before I get up out of here that's gonna make a difference in the community, to my community, to your community. I think I did enough that somewhere along the line my name is gonna continue to pop up for a while. I'm in like 4 different museums across the country. So I'm not too concerned about me. I'm concerned about the community and people, kids. Right now, I'm trying to start. I'm putting together this Hip Hop Elders Association, where we're gonna start with like small insurance, where somebody invests in it. You die, your family get a check to bury you in and whatever. That's where we're going to start, and then we're going to try to grow into healthcare and try to get people policies so people can have health coverage. my wife is trying to open up a school called the Future School. So she's trying to build that. And we're gonna try to help with that, and might start off with one small school, and then try to grow it into something big where it might can be two to five within the next 10 years across the country. We got to start building our own schools. We got to start building our own organization to take care of. And then when I say our people, I don't mean black people. I mean people that are basically in the same situation that we in, whether it's black, white. I don't even play the color game because that's all they are, colors. I'm talking about. I try not to even do the Afro American because to them African American means property.
Right.
So I don't even try to do that. And I try to explain to people that we want to be seen as blacks, or we want to be seen as African Americans more than we want to be recognized as human beings. And everything they do is to try to declassify you as a human being.
Right.
So when they kill you, they don't want people to feel like a human being just got killed.
Yeah.
They want them to think first that, a black person got killed.
Yeah. Well,
and we don't focus. A lot of us don't even focus on that we human beings, and they've been trying to declassify us as humans so fucking long that we even falling for it now. Oh, I'm black. Why can't I be black? Because that's a color.
Yeah.
When I read this thing and it said African American means property to them. That's why they got the stand your ground laws, and it worked for white people, but it don't work for black people. Mm-hmm. You gotta look at that and really try to think like them. Everything that they not okay with, they put a color on it. White women that have kids by black men, they call grays. Oh, you got one pinch of blood, black blood, you considered black.
Yep.
They got that's their color code thing. And we going right along with it. We playing right into the game. Because when you say, oh, yeah, I'm black and all that, that means you certifying what they saying. You going along with what they saying.
Right.
So we got to stop giving them the power to say, oh, everything they say, we willing to go with it. Like, oh, master say I am, so I am.
Yeah. So I can tell that this is where your second passion is outside of hip hop. So whatever you and your wife, or if she gets her school going, whatever y'all decide to do, keep us up with that so that we can support, because we're all down for change right about now. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, we all need to change. We all need our people to say, hey, we human beings, and really put it out there that we are human beings, because that's why they winning, because we agreeing with them that we're not human beings.
Amen.
And we don't intend to, but that's what they got us brainwashed, and we just following their lead. How you gonna hang people for all this time and nobody been prosecuted for lynching anybody black, anybody willing to help black?
Right, man. That would be a whole separate podcast. We
But it ain't talked about enough for people to really, everybody want to ignore it. Oh, yeah, ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't nothing gonna happen if you don't never speak about it. If you start speaking about it, maybe something will happen.
Right.
But this is how this man felt. He could kill George Floyd on national TV in front of the world.
Yeah, and we still don't know if he's gonna get away with it.
Yeah, we still don't know, and that's why they prolonged it. So, okay, now the tension is down. Ain't nobody. We might have had 1 million people paying attention to it, but now it's only like 100,000 people paying attention to it. So we might just push it under the rug. But since that, look how many other people done got killed, lost their lives for some BS.
True. Right down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we not saying, that we don't want the trial to be next week. We want the trial to be right now while it's fresh in people's minds.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we got a lot of cases. You can move this one up. This one is important enough for you to move it up.
I agree.
But they want people to forget, move on to the next thing and all this and that. So they put it back. They push it off as long as they can. I feel like they want to. The government should be held responsible for a lot of this stuff.
Well,
the government is the one that's putting it out there, making laws and holding on to it.
On the issue of the government, where it relates to hip hop, have you seen any government infiltration involved with the on the musical side? Because you know how there's word of the hip hop police, so they would say.
Yeah. I know when they was trying to classify the Zulu Nation as a gang, I know we had infiltration in our ranks and all that. But they was never really able to put anything big on us. Yeah, we had a couple of bad apples, because it's all from the street. So yeah, you got a couple of bad apples, but they haven't been able to get nothing really, anything that they can say, okay, let's shut this down.
Yeah.
But you ain't trying to shut down the Ku Klux Klan. You ain't trying to classify them as no terrorists.
So they classified the Zulu Nation as a gang.
Yeah.
So, we did a podcast too on the impact of gang culture on hip hop. What did you see back then as far as the impact of gang culture in the early days compared to what you saw coming into the 90s and 2000s? How did that change?
I mean, the gang culture was before hip hop, and that's how people was living. I think it gave hip hop a jump start, really, because a lot of the gang members took off their colors and become hip hoppers. It wasn't hip hop at first, but that's what it grew into. I was in the gang. I was in the gang called the Undertakers. I went to a school that had 60 different gangs in it, and only me and one other dude was in the Undertakers. So we didn't have the opportunity to wear our colors in school because there was only 2 of us in it. So I think the gang culture added to a lot of the culture that's now in hip hop. It gave it flavor. It gave it some sense of fashion and all that. we from the beginning, so we see all the different turns and hooks and stuff that changes. Long before Biggie was wearing the pinstripe suits and stuff, the big hats, we was wearing them before that. We had a show called Gangster Chronicles. In '81, we battled the Fantastic Five. And our show was Gangster Chronicles. We came out with the pinstripe suits on, with toy machine guns and stuff, and we had a whole gangster skit. We did this leather spikes. We saw Rick James and we saw Earth, Wind and Fire, the way they was dressing. So we had that element in hip hop at some point in time. So we looked at the entertainers because that's what we were striving to be, like the entertainers. So yeah, we changed up. We changed up a lot, trying everything. And now these kids, they don't even care really. But I can't say they don't care, but because they doing their own culture, they doing the culture they want to do, and they trying to dress and like they want to dress. But I just watched this thing 2 days ago, and how the lady was saying in the early '70s, this dude was speaking on a lot of the dress wearing and all that. And he was talking about this in the '70s, that how it was being geared to all that. Men wearing dresses, black culture wearing dresses and stuff. So like I've been telling people for years, this ain't just happening. This has been put in place, and now it's coming into fruition. Somebody sat around and been guiding this in the direction that it's going. And people just think, oh, this is just happening. And, no, this was put in line to start happening.
As far as
they steering and they making stuff happen. This is not just happening. Somebody is controlling the narrative so this can happen.
Yeah, we talked a few times about how you could see that once we lost control of hip hop, the content became one thing. It was all negative, and that ain't what it used to be. And we had a whole show about that.
When it's one thing to lose control. It's another thing to be brainwashed when you're not being brainwashed, and they triggering different situations, and they are making things happen because they sitting around the table and they saying, "Yo, this is where we want it to be." Like 2021, this is how we want it to be by 2028. And they steering it, and they making stuff happen and guiding it that way.
Right.
These people are very vindictive and all that. And we got to understand who we dealing with. These are people that have dropped bombs on us, has burnt down whole colonies, all that. And the government just let them get away with it.
And if they get control of the music.
I was in a room one day, and we played hip hop, and there was some guys maybe 10, 15 years older than us. So when I seen their attitude towards what we was playing, I went over and talked to them. I said, "Yo, how y'all doing? You know, I see y'all not really feeling this music. Nah, this ain't no real music." I said, "But you know, you don't think this could be our own way of the revolution?" They said, after Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, there's no such thing as a revolution." I said, "You don't think this could be?" He said, "Listen to me." He said, "They could come in this room right now and kill all of us. And there'll be the same people telling your family we're going to find out who did this. This is who we dealing with."
This is Capital City with capital J.
So, you know, but, you know, everybody else wants you to be the hero. They want you to be instead of getting behind you, they just gonna sit back and say, and like, how long is it gonna take for them to kill him? You know, they can't get back. So how long is it gonna take for them to kill you? How they gonna kill you and all that? You know.
Well, while we in this lane, tell me some of the things in your career, you know, things that you dealt with as an artist that speak directly to what we were just talking about right there.
I mean, you know, it's like
things that happen.
When I'm asked to leave a lecture because I'm willing to ask certain questions, and then people jump up and say, "Well, who are you to say? And who are you to say?" And I said, "Huh? Who am I to say? You the one sitting up there calling Sylvia Robinson your hero in hip hop, but she one of the first ones to start robbing hip hop. What make you want to make her your hero?"
So it's safe to assume that, you know, Sugar Hill Gang wouldn't rank too high in your category.
Well,
of hip-hop.
Sugar Hill Gang is a studio group. Sugar Hill Gang was never in the street with us. They came together to do that record. They was a formed group. But I'm just saying, when you got somebody now, you know, the Robinson grandkids is running around saying, "Oh, my grandmother started hip hop." Like, your grandmother started hip hop. You know, they got the show on the first family of hip hop, the Robinsons. I'm like, you know, it's like, how'd you get that credit?
Just owning the label.
It's only a label, but that's how they put it out there. So that's what people start believing. You know, it's like the music when the records start coming in play. That's when the groups start falling apart. That's when hip hop start falling apart, because now it just becomes a way to make money to them. Then they kill off the positive hip hop and come up with the gangster rap.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we dealing with.
I go to the West Coast and they playing curses on the radio. They playing music records with curses on the radio. I call home and like, "Yo, they playing the curses on the radio out here."
It's a problem.
Yeah.
You know.
But this is what I say. When everything is going to good, they start planting viruses and everything, because they don't want it to be perceived as something good for your community. they try to tear it down so they can control. Because now people are looking at it as those black kids. So they don't want them to think nothing positive is coming out of those black kids.
Who do you see now that you think has that spirit that's on the scene, an artist that you can relate to on the level that you feel like?
Well, I mean, they all blindfolded by it. They're all blind by the money. They're all blind by the money. They're not even, the music that's being made, they ain't even being made right. You know, when we start making the few records we make, we would go in the studio and the engineer would teach us how to make the record.
Right.
Now these guys is going in the studio and they telling the engineer to shut up and do what I want. They taking the mathematics out of making music.
A lot of these guys don't have engineers.
No, everything got to do with math. Even you walking at a rhythm to walk correct. You can't even walk to this music. You can't even dance to this music because it's so off.
I have the same problem with a lot of this stuff too, and they just feel like dudes just take off like somebody shot a gun and they just take off rapping and just damn what the beat says. I'm going this fast.
Yeah, the music is going one way and what they said is going the other way. It's like I seen a party go from dancing to just standing around when this music come on.
Background music. Is that everything's throwaway nowadays. And it's hard. It's hard for classics to rise up because everything's so throwaway. But you still get them that pop up every now and then, though.
Yeah, you get one or two that I don't know if they really focus on making it better or it just happened. But they can't come in on the one. They can't do 8 bars, because they don't even care.
You can tell who got good mentors. When you hear young artists.
Do they even listen? I'm like, yo, till the day, I don't want no ass kisses around me. If something is wrong, bring it to my attention. If you got a better plan, bring it to my attention. Don't just go with me because of who I am. Bring it to my attention like, yo, I don't think that'll work.
Too many yes men.
Yeah. It's like, yo, what are we gonna teach the kids? What are we gonna have our women look at us and think? But because they got them thinking that if they're not really making no money, he ain't shit. And that's what a lot of women is looking for. What type of money you got?
It's a poisonous mentality.
Not what kind of knowledge you got, what you got to offer. Is your heart good? They don't care about that because somebody else done told them that don't mean nothing no more.
Yep.
Is he a stand-up man? Is he gonna fight for you? No. A lot of women care if you got what kind of car you driving. Can you take me to Red Lobster? I told my friend, 25-year retired lieutenant, so he trying to do stuff in Waco, Texas. I ain't even know him. My man said, yo, let's go out there and see what we can do to help them. So we jump on the plane. We introduce ourselves. We go out and jump on the plane and go out there. We having a conference, and they going back and forth, back and forth. So I stand up and I was like, yo, you know it's a snake in here, right? Oh, why you say that? Why you say that? I said, because as soon as we started this conference, it's a back and forth. And somebody in here ain't willing to agree to nothing. So that just let me know it's a snake in here. I said, what? Just like we in this room going back and forth, they're in the room someplace going back and forth too. So don't think we the only one doing something. We trying to do something positive, and they in another room trying to do something negative to our people. So while we here going back and forth, we only hurting our people.
Yeah.
Because nobody want to go in the same direction. Maybe because this ain't your thing, so I don't really want to flow with you. I want you to flow with my idea. And this is where we always hit the wall at. This is where we hit the wall at, because if they don't send them, people themselves start, if I'm not in control of it, then I don't want to flow with it. And they throw it off. I've had people come to me and say, I want to help you and the pioneers. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then when I call the pioneers together, it's a whole bunch of back and forth. Because some people are thinking, how can I get money out of this? Other people are trying to say, I want to look like the head of this. I want to be the head of this. So it's a whole bunch of stuff that come to the table that ain't necessary.
Right.
We tried to start the Federation for the Preservation of Hip Hop Culture some years ago. And the vice president and the president kept bumping heads. I was like, yo, we don't get this first table right, this ain't gonna work. We gotta get this first table working together for this to work, and it never happened.
Wow.
So now I'm trying to start the Hip Hop Elders Association.
Okay.
Don't want to hear it.
What would that do?
Everybody that's sitting at the table to let's go this way, and this way is for the people. Don't start thinking about your individual self. This is for the people. Let's figure out how to get people insurance. Let's figure out how to get people health insurance, death insurance. Let's figure out how to open up these schools, non-profit, for profit. We got to do a non-for-profit, and let's get our lawyers together. Let's get them to figure this out.
Hey, the insurance line is a good way to go, man. You have to dig into that a little bit more.
Yeah, but I'm like, we got doctors that come out of hip hop. We got lawyers that come out of hip hop. Why not reach out to them and say, listen, we need to get this right, or closest to right this time. Because anything positive, they coming for you. They coming either to shut it down or to buy it from you. We can't be bought. I can't be bought. I can't be bought. I turned down Sugar Hill Records. I took down Def Jam Records. I took down at least 5 record companies coming up. And you know why?
Why?
Because they wasn't doing nothing for us. They wasn't doing nothing for us. And to prove it, everybody that was on Sugar Hill Records is still trying to get money out of Sugar Hill Records 30 years later. Everybody that was on that label.
Right.
They got a lawsuit going, still trying to get money. Sylvia Robinson done passed away. Her husband, Joe Robinson, done passed away. Her son, Joey Robinson. The only one left is Leland Robinson, and he's getting all the money. And he offered them like $1,000 to drop the lawsuit. Just give them some money.
Right.
Just give them some money.
Especially when they built the whole legacy.
Yeah. Turned down Def Jam. Russell tried to sign us 3 times. Turned down Def Jam. He wanted us to change our name from the Cold Crush Brothers to the Cold Crush Crew, and have, instead of using C, use K, so we could be known as the KKK Posse. Get out of here, Russell. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not selling my soul, selling my people.
Goodness.
Yeah, controversy. You got to build controversy. I don't want that type of controversy. No. I don't want to be connected to no KKK at any point.
Right on.
And who knows? They might come.
His phone, he clicked it, yeah. Let's see, get him back.
This was good stuff.
I lost you?
Yes, we back.
Yeah. But like, you know, he's a millionaire now, so they look at him as a guru. He's in, you know, he ain't no guru. He got in a position and he made it work for him. He didn't make it work for everybody. He just made it work for him and the few around him. You know, so
right place, right time.
Yep, and then sold Jeff Jam to the Chinese, but stayed on as a figurehead to make our people still think he was the man. He owned it. He's still doing this thing when the money is going to the Chinese people now.
Right, behind the scenes stuff nobody knows about.
Yeah, all of them sold. All of them sold, but still, don't tell your people that you don't own it no more, because you want to make money off your people. So now they helping them swindle us.
Right.
Well, you know.
So at this, not to change direction or anything, but at this point,
no change direction, because I'll keep, well, let's get back to the hip hop.
Yeah, well, I'm a DJ. I know a lot of DJs, and they just never seem to stop working. You still working?
Yeah, I'm working.
Yeah, so
I'm working.
So what's
we got to stop accepting what they give us. Like, like they made National DJ Day January 20th. Like, who came up with that day for it to be National DJ Day? What can you do on January 20th?
Yeah, that's supposed to be a date in the summer.
Yeah.
Where you can get outside.
Yeah.
Like maybe the third Saturday in July.
I'm saying, who came up with January 20th? And why did we just accept it? Because that's how they got us programmed.
I don't know. I never really celebrated it.
Well, me neither. But if two of us celebrated, then that's too many. Like I'm like okay. Now that I don't celebrate 4th of July no more, because I learned what that was all about. So let's move National DJ Day to July 4th.
Yeah. Yeah. So what what's a typical gig nowadays?
Well, I got a sound company. I got a sound company. I could do 10,000 people, so I'm pushing that. I go sometime. I'm asked to go to colleges and talk and give lectures. I do that. I try to do a lot of like I'm supposed to do Juneteenth this year because I basically just start finding out what Juneteenth is about. So I'm supposed to do Juneteenth June 19th. But the COVID, they got like restrictions up here with the COVID. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll push it back to 2021. 2022. You know,
Right.
I'm college shows.
So you are available.
Yeah, I'm always available. If it makes sense, I'm available. I'm like, you need a system in Kentucky. I'll bring a system. If your buddy is saying you can have me bring a system, I'm on my way.
That's what's up. That quality sound. Hey, give them your information so they know how to get in contact with you for your business.
I'm Tony Crush on everything: Facebook, Instagram, AJ Tony Crush at gmail.com. I don't drink, but I'm part of this hip hop beers. We coming out with a company called Hip Hop Beers. Cold Crush got a beer called Cold Crush. It's the IPA. We're trying to sign Rakim. We're trying to sign Rozelle. And we could do a craft beer, seltzer water, or energy drink. And the artist, if it's say if it's Rozelle beer, he gets a percentage of the sales off his beer.
Rozelle?
Yeah, from the Roots.
Wow. I hadn't heard his name in a while.
Yeah. We met with his manager 2 weeks ago. We met with Rakim manager. We might be doing like a honors beer for the fallen soldiers. We might be doing a Notorious for Biggie. We might be doing an Ecstasy for Houdini. Different things. We try to sign West Coast artists as well. And everybody get a cut of their beer. We come up with a flavor. So far, we got a Zulu Stout. For the Zulu nation.
The Zulu Stout.
Yeah. So just trying to do stuff. Trying to get it off the ground. We probably gonna have a couple of tap houses. One we try to look at Denver and Arizona for the first two, and probably Troy because they got some breweries, the Bronx Brewery in the Bronx and all that. Got a couple up here in Connecticut. So we just trying to branch out and bring the culture to our people, because we drink beer too. I mean, I don't drink beer, but people at hip hop drink beer too. So
right.
We try to get this twist, that we looking for, investors and stuff like that. Like I said, we try to open up schools and programs. Jam Master, before he passed, he had the Scratch Academy, and that's still going on. My friends down in Denver, they started the DJ school out there that's doing pretty well. And I was thinking about starting a DJ school in this area and dedicated to my partner, DJ Outlaw. Um, he passed away like 5 years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Everybody thought he was Puerto Rican, but he was actually Italian. But the blackest Italian I ever met. So, it's like when I took one step, he took two steps, and like everybody was like, yo, why you keep getting these Puerto Ricans or whatever as your partner? And I'm like, I'm not getting them. They come in and it's a fit.
Yeah, it's right.
I'm not picking and choosing. I mean, maybe God is sending them to me, because they thinking like I'm thinking, I mean, Outlaw would give you the shirt off his back, sometimes when you say, yo, I need some music, people is like holding on to it, like, hey, yo, give him whatever he wants. You can't play it all. You can't play it all.
Right.
So why, people want to walk around with 4 terabytes of music and only play like 2% of it. Like, yo, you can't play it all. So why try to hold on to all of it like that?
Right. Do you still have records around?
Yeah, I got records around. I got records every place in this house.
Yeah, me too. My wife is about tired of all these records I got. I just won't let them go. I can't do it.
Well, like when people pass away, they might give me their records before they pass away, or somebody might say, somebody passed away and they got records in the storage or whatever. They just want to get rid of them, So I got my records in the basement. I got somebody else's records in my garage, and I got somebody else's records on my truck, and then I had somebody else's record in a warehouse. So the last person I collected records from, I think he had like over 500 crates of records. So I put them in the truck and I brought them to Connecticut and put them and he's like, yo, I need like $3,000. So I said, okay, I'll get the money in. So he was like, well, you give me $3,000 as soon as because I need it quick, and you can have the rest. So that's what I did. I sold what I could to get the $3,000, and then he said, yo, you can have the rest. So I got people that buy records, that's looking for records to buy as long as they're clean. When Outlaw died, he left a public full of records. He told his girl, half the records was hers and half was mine. I took the dude, he offered $150,000 for the record. And she didn't take it. Didn't take it.
Man, I don't know how many records he had, but that guy needs to call me. I love my records, but I love $150,000.
I mean, my man had everything. He used to DJ for Prince, so he had a whole lot of stuff, a lot of special stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, but anytime you want to get ready to move him, let me know. I'll let him know. I'll send him your way because he travel up and down the East Coast to see record collectors.
Yeah, I done had a few of them guys come through, and then I decided not to sell some of my more precious stuff because it felt like they were gonna get the best pieces out of my stuff and leave me with the I'm like, either take it all or don't just come through here and take the jewels and leave me with a whole with roomfuls of records. Take it all or don't take the jewels out,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you gotta listen. You gotta put it out there. Listen, if you come, you gotta take it all. Ain't no picking through it. Take it all.
Right.
I got about 2 cats. I got one cat. He don't even want to look at it. He's like, yo, he'll make you an offer. Yo, I take it all for this. He don't even want. He look through it later, like, but he's like, yo, I'm gonna give you this. I'm willing to give you this without looking through it. So, I don't know. But they know what they're looking for.
Right.
And as long as it's playable, sometimes they be like, yo, just give me it all. If all of it look good from the beginning, they just say, give me it all.
Man, I'm ashamed to say that I have actually thrown records in a dumpster when I was moving before because it just got to be too much to move. Like, and I look back on like, oh, I wish I had held on to some of it. Because some of it was just the stuff that I just absolutely wasn't using. But then later on, I found out that the category of stuff that I was tossing ended up being,
It's worth keeping.
Yeah, it ended up being the stuff I should have held on to.
That album cover that sold for over 100,000.
Which one?
Ramelzy.
Right.
And when they did the auction, the album cover, not the album. The album cover went for over $100,000.
And who was
my man always told me that album cover was the money cover. Sometimes it's just the cover that's worth the money, not the album itself. Just the cover.
What album was this?
It's a dude. He's in Wild Style with us. His name is Ramelzy.
Ramelzy.
And he put out this album, and he drew the cover himself.
Wow.
And that cover last year went in the auction for $125,000.
Oh my goodness. Man, I hope I got something like that stashed up in them crates and
just
shelves.
Like the crown that Biggie wore, that little $6 plastic crown, was for about the same thing, over $100,000.
Wow.
I mean, people don't know, it's junk to some people. To other people, it might be,
I stashed a bunch of T-shirts from all this time that I spent, around hip hop and on radio and stuff. I saved all the T-shirts, like all the promotional T-shirts from Yeah,
well, I know a dude that's looking for T-shirts.
Word.
Yeah. They looking for T-shirts, old flyers, and they pay.
Right.
My man just sold 6 posters.
Oh, I got some posters now. Like,
he just sold 6 posters for $14,000.
Wow.
He got $14,000.
Yep, I saved I saved mad promotional stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
they want it. They looking for, especially people that's dealing with the museums, trying to put these museums together, because the posters and the flyers give them dates.
Mm-hmm.
Give them dates when stuff was happening, and that's what they trying to do. They trying to put this thing in order, so they need everything that directs them to dates when stuff was happening.
Yeah,
because a lot of flyers and stuff just got the month and the date on it. They usually don't have the year, so they looking for stuff that that they can determine what was going on at this time.
Well, I got a T-shirt that might be worth something. Then it's a Bad Boy when they first, when the label first came out. They releasing that Craig Mack joint. That first T-shirt they put out, 1994, Bad Boy.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what it said on the front.
I'll share this. I'll share this dude with you that's looking for T-shirts and stuff. Let me find them and I'll share it with you.
Yeah, I got the entire No Limit line.
Albums.
Nah, T-shirts.
Oh.
This white dude, that's what he's like, yo, you got any old T-shirts and stuff? I'll direct you right to him.
Yeah, man. Well, it's about that time for us to be wrapping it up, man. But this has been an awesome conversation, man. And I'm really glad that you gave us a call or that we were able to talk to you tonight, though, for real.
Hey, listen, I'm at the other end of the line anytime you want it. I'm on the other end of the phone. If anybody want to reach me, it's Tony Crush on Facebook. DJ Tony Crush at Gmail. I'm here, man. I'm here.
Right on, man. Well, we appreciate it.
Like I said, we still getting bookings. Somebody want to do they want to do an anniversary for the 1981 battle we had with Fantastic. They wanted. It was July 3rd, 1981. And July 3rd is on a Saturday this year. So they want to do like a semi-anniversary for that. So they reaching out and saying, yo, can we get both of y'all together? But I couldn't get all the Fantastic together on their budget. So they just tried to do something with us on July 3rd. So I'm like, yo, let's make it happen.
That's what's up. The rap battle was nice, but what I really want to know is who won the basketball game.
Well, the basketball game in the movie we was only throwing it around so they could get footage. And my little verse I came up with on the spot. They was like, all of y'all stand in line and just come up with something. So we had to come up with a little quick saying or whatever.
Man, that ended up. I'm sorry. I didn't even mean to interrupt you. That ended up being like one of the most iconic scenes ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In that picture you had us, the Fantastic. You had Lisa Lee from Zulu Queens in that scene, and
I was wondering who those girls were.
Yeah, the one in white coat was Queen Lisa Lee from the Zulu Nation. She was pregnant at that time, but you couldn't tell. And one of the scenes in Wild Style, Angie Stone was in there. She was just happened to be in the scene because then her and Little Rodney C was married.
Oh wow!
So that's what her name was originally, Angie B.
Yeah.
But when she got married to Little Rodney C, his real last name is Stone. So that's where she gets the Angie Stone from.
Wow.
So
all connected.
Yeah.
She from down this way too.
Yeah, she from Columbia, right?
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in North Carolina, but down this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, it's been a pleasure, man. And one time for the road, DL. It's Capital City. I'm Capital J.
And this is DL Glass.
Along with
The original DJ Tony Tone, aka Tony Crush.
Always on time.
Crush Brothers.
The legend.
Always on time. You see how I come in right on cue?
Right. Absolutely.
You, sir, are truly professional.
I try my best. Well, I don't even try. It's natural now. But listen, I'm trying to come that way. I'm trying to come down that way with the show, with a Cold Crush show. But we are trying to find places to do this hip hop fun run, a 5K to raise money for cancer and stuff like that. So,
well, we're in the Raleigh-Durham area.
Yeah, we looking for places. You know, it ain't got you know, parking lot, big park situation, so people can do the 5K. You know,
right.
All about helping, all about trying to help as much as we can. You know, and get people out to play some music for them, so they can enjoy life too. You know,
no doubt.
All this shit around, people need to dance. People want to dance.
Well, I got a few places in mind, man. I have DL send them to you because I know he has your number.
Okay. Well, you can get my number from him too. We all could say, you know, I might be back down that way, DL, in June. They trying to give my cousin a surprise birthday party, so I might come back down there for that. You know?
Okay.
You know, my family just learning who they don't even know who I am. They just learning. So, you know.
It's crazy.
Right on, man.
You never know.
Hey,
right. Well,
you know, it's like I miss so many family events out there doing what I do, man. And it's like, okay, I'm trying to learn my family and get my family to meet my family. So, you know, but you got to make sacrifices, you know, to do something for the people. And people don't understand that. Like, you know, some people are putting it and making sacrifices, and they're not getting the millions of bucks and the thousands of bucks. I mean, cats don't want to put us on tour. They don't want to come on after us. Like, yo, you got hit records, and you don't want to come on after us? And,
it's a different kind of energy. Different kind of energy to follow.
Yeah.
They don't even understand.
They know, you know, when people see us, they see it like the rawest hip hop, and they say like, "Yo, that if they was doing it like that, you know, we was like so far past what Rappers Delight came out. When Rappers Delight came out, we were so far past that they had to simplify and bring it back for the people to be able to keep up with it."
Yeah.
So we're not mad with them. Like Big Bang Hank was somebody's security. He wasn't even a rapper, you know.
Right.
I know y'all heard the story about him stealing his lyrics from Cass.
Oh yeah.
Word for word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know he was Cass manager / security. He wasn't no rapper. So when people say, "Yo, why y'all don't, you know, give Sugar Hill the credit?" Because they wasn't rappers in the street with us. Right. They didn't come up with us. And they act like they was better than us when they came out.
Wow.
They just started being around us when they like left the company. Wow. And you know, it's like crazy. Like we don't know, so we signing away our name. They couldn't leave with their name. They, you know, it wasn't their name; it was a company name. But that's just like the moment that became Ray Goodman and Brown after a while, because they was on Sugar Hill, and when they left, they couldn't take their name with them.
Right.
But you know, and that's all. If you paying attention and you learning now, I'm supposed to share that with other people. Like, yo, copyright your name. You
right.
know, own your name, because if you sign with record companies, you signing your name over to them. That's why Prince became the artist formerly known.
Right.
Because the contract, it was preferring to the artist. They wasn't preferring to Prince. His real name was preferred to the artist. So he changed his name to the artist.
So y'all
But don't nobody talk about it. So it still gets the next people. They get the next people with the same thing because people not talking about it and letting people know, like, yo, beware of this.
So you still in total control of the Cold Crush name?
I own it.
Right on.
I own it. I own it. I don't sign no. I'm not signing nothing. I want to count my money. I want to know what money comes to me. A lot of people, they get in there, they just want to perform. They sign. They don't even want to sign nothing. They sign all that over to their manager or whatever. And this is how your managers start stealing from you because you trusted them when you giving them power of attorney, so he don't feel like he's stealing it. You giving them power of attorney.
Strong.
IRS came to Kool Moe Dee and trying to tax him on $1 million. And Kool Moe said, I ain't got $1 million. And they said, but you made $1 million. And that's how he found out. His manager was stealing money. He didn't even know that made $1 million.
Wow.
Until they started trying to tax him on it. That's why I don't get nobody power of attorney over not a nickel. Because I want to know everything coming in and going out.
Yeah.
What? That seems so easy. So that's why you do it. That's why artists do it. Like, I can't be bothered with that. You take care of it. And then you be, somebody be stealing, but they, like I said, they don't feel like they're stealing because you gave them power of attorney.
Yeah.
So,
man, that's good stuff, man. A lot of young artists need to know about this stuff too, man. They just want to be seen.
They need to surround them with thinking people and stop trying to have you can have your friend around you, but you also got to have somebody around you that's looking out for you and saying, yo, I don't think you should do that. No, I don't think you should do that. So you making money and then you giving it right back to the system that want to lock you up. They want to lock you up.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like, yo, they want to break you down. They want to make you poor again. They don't want you living in a bigger house than them or like them.
Yeah, boy. Like I said, we gotta get you on we did a podcast about the presidents and how who's in office at the time and the political climate and the economy changed the hip hop at the time, man. We gotta get you back on one of them because I see you be thinking all political and deep.
Man, the president ain't nothing but a puppet. It's like they've been brainwashing us all these years about this and that. My man told me the other day, he said, yo, the president, the only real job he got is to control the mail. the post office. I was like, for real? Like, yeah, that's really what his job is. Like, control the post office. Like,
everything else is delegated, though. If you think about it,
everything else is delegated. And
damn, when you put it like that,
I was hey, listen, like I tell Cass, listen, I ain't went nowhere but GED, but I pay attention and I try to think it out. No, I ain't been to college. I ain't got no ABCs or no DFGs behind my name, but it's normal. It's shit that you can just think about and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
But they got to believe it. You need all these alphabets and stuff behind your name to be able to function. Like, yo, listen to people around you. Listen to what they say. Think about stuff. Read stuff. They say the president's only job is he over the post office.
Hey, that's what's up. Well, tell me this: will you be willing to come back and talk to us another time? We get on that stuff too.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
that's what's
because
up.
we gotta wake our people up. I mean, it's just. Have you ever heard of Black Sunday? You can say no. Because I never heard
term,
of it either.
I was gonna say the term sounds so familiar, but yet I can't say I can say any particular incident makes me say Black Sunday. Tell me about Black Sunday.
Black Sunday, I ran into it one day on a Sunday. Tavis Smiley used to have this thing every year he did called Black Sunday. So I'm sitting there and they keep talking about we got a covenant with this and we got a covenant with that. And this thing is like 24 hours long, I think. They got every senator, every black senator, every whatever that comes through there. Farrakhan, Al Sharpton, everybody, there's somebody come through there and sit there and talk. The last half an hour, black lady, she was senator someplace, and she asked the question, why is there no hip hop representation here?
Wow.
What does he say?
They said that all day long, going back and forth. Oh, the covenant, we got a covenant. We signed this treaty. I guess they was talking about America. And she said, why don't we have no hip hop representation here? But I know what their representation would be a Russell Simmons or somebody. They ain't gonna come and find none of us.
Yeah, we definitely, man. We definitely gonna get back with you for real. Yeah, we're gonna pick your brain on this side next time.
And that's probably why they shut down Tavis Smiley.
Right. And this is the longest running podcast we had so far. It's very special.
We might have to make it a part 1, part 2.
Yeah, because we had 2 hours,
That's what
5 minutes.
Said that I did the podcast with.
That's
Y'all know to set it down, man. I'm here. I'm here, man.
Hey, man, for real, man. It's been a good time, though, man. I can't wait to build with you all that other stuff.
Yes, sir.
Peace and love, man. Peace and love. They might come get me in the morning talking all this mess on this police in my pocket. You know that's the police in my pocket.
No infiltrators.
We on the police. We probably hitting trigger words and all that right now.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they've been on us ever since the crack episode.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we gotta acknowledge, let them know we know they listening.
Yeah, boy.
Right.
That's what's up, man. We appreciate it, man.
You be well.
Hey, peace and love, man. Peace and love.
Tony Crush, people.
Community, peace and love.
DJ Tony.
Later.
Talk to you soon, brother.
All right, peace.